Hi everyone, and welcome back to Berry Patch Lifestyle for day 9 of our yoga fundamentals for beginners. Hopefully you're enjoying it to this point. I have a really slow, simple 4 postures for you today. So if you're tired from all the previous stuff we've done, this is a nice little rest day for us. For today, we're going to start with Garland Pose. So for this one, as always, we need stable base. Probably get tired of me saying that. We're going to go about just outside of our shoulders here. We're going to be going straight down to the mat, and if you end up falling out of it, that's okay too. So we're going to take our hips, set them back, and we're going to just start to move down, 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 down as far as you can. How far is that for you? Is that here? You're going to bring your hands to your heart center and lift all the way up. Crown is tall, chin is tucked ever so slightly, and if you can, what if you could sink all the way in? This is a true Garland pose. Feet are flat on the floor. If you need to bring yours up, that's okay if you get into the posture that way, or we can press them all the way down into the floor, back as straight as it can be, and we're sitting up nice and tall. If you don't like prayer position, you can just, fold your hands together however you like, have them just down at the floor. The only thing is, you want to make sure that you're using the strength of your legs to keep them open. If I have my arms in between my legs, it's really tempting to want to push them out to the sides, but we don't want to do that. So if I move my arms, my legs are magically going to stay where they were. Okay, I'm entertaining myself today. All right, so sitting up tall, and we're going to take about 5 breaths here. If you end up falling out, make sure you let go of your hands so you can brace yourself for impact, and then just try to come on back in. So we're going to take probably 4 breaths now. If you're up on your toes, you can work at trying to press the heels down, just kind of come back. The balance will get better the more and more you practice. Maybe your balance is already fantastic. All right, now we're actually going to take those hands, bring them behind us, and just fall out of that Garland pose. We're going to now turn on our mats and come all the way down, however you want to get there, laying on the mat, moving the ponytail if you have one. And we're going to do a reclined twist. So we're going to have our legs long. Some instructors will have you send your arms and your legs, I knew that plant was going to be there, send your arms and your legs long so they're kind of pushing away from each other, so you stretch into this, really, really, really pressing away. This can feel really amazing. And now we're going to take our right leg and bring it into the chest. So if that means it's here for you, that's where it belongs, or you can pull it all the way in. So we're pulling it straight into the chest. And we'll breathe. Now there's a lot of different ways of doing this reclined twist. We can have our foot back on the mat. It's going to be right around where the knee of your left foot or your left leg is. We can stay right here, or some instructors will have you kind of push up and shift your hips a little bit to the right. That'll just make it a little bit easier for you. The hands or the arms can go to cactus arms, which means, like a cactus on the floor. The key to this twist is making sure that your shoulders stay on the floor. So you can have these cactus arms or have them all the way out to a T. I've shifted my hips, and I'm going to take this knee and I'm just going to let it fall over to the side. Now, it's going to fall over until it can't anymore. Once this shoulder starts to lift off the ground, I've gone too far. So over time, you can probably use the other hand to just guide it down to the floor. But You know, if you've never done this before, your knee might be way up here, and to get it down to the floor, you have to pull this shoulder way up. Just don't do that. We're just gonna have a nice, gentle twist today. If you're gripping anywhere, so what I mean by that is if you're clenching anywhere, just do a little body scan and see, is your glute on your left side clenching to try and keep you there? Just try to relax everything. And we'll take a breath. We'll roll back, and then we have to bring our hips back to center. Use your foot for leverage to do that, and send that leg out long. We'll go back to our overhead stretch and bring our left knee into our chest. Place that foot down on the floor. Have your hands cactus. I think I'm going to go for the cactus this time. Press into your left foot so you can lift your bottom ever so slightly and shift it over to the left. And then just let that knee fall. Now that is where my knee is headed today without my shoulder lifting. Now I'm going to take this hand and just guide it a little bit further into the twist. As soon as my shoulder lifts up, then I've gone too far. There's a lot of days that you might be able to reach the floor, and then days that are not quite the same. And one side is always different from the other. Pretty much like that with everything on our bodies, right? I can hear you agreeing with me. Let's breathe. We're gonna come on back, put that foot down on the floor. Now, if you are in a class and that's the way that stretch goes and that's the way you want to do it, that's fine. The other thing that you can do is keep both knees bent. Do the same thing. You can shift over. We're going to lean to the left, so we're shifting our hips over to the right. And then arms, cactus, T, whatever you like, and just let them fall to the side together. It's going to be a different twist for you. You're going to feel it in different places. Pick up those feet, just give that a go on the other side. So we're shifting our hips over to the left and let our knees fall to the right. Now, I've been talking to you this whole time, but what you'll normally be asked, if your knees are pointed over to the right, your instructor will say you can look over the opposite shoulder. So I feel kind of weird turning away from you right now, but that's what I'm going to do. Really relax into that pose. The way we had it before with our one leg straight tends to be a little bit more of a stretch in your shoulders. So let's shift our hips back to center, and we're going to do something called happy baby. And this pose makes some people very happy and some people don't love it. It's kind of a vulnerable pose. So if you would like to join me, bring your knees into your chest, and you can take your hands and guide them around the bottoms of your feet. This might be very, very tough for some people. So if maybe you want to grab your calves or your ankles, that's okay too. Because I know bringing your knees all the way into your chest like that can be tough. So we're grasping. Grasping sounds a little intense. We're gently holding onto our feet and pulling those knees down into our armpits. So you can feel the back release, and you can feel kind of a hip stretch as well. So in happy baby, you can pull those legs down and then start to roll back and forth. And now again, we're using our core strength to bring us back to center. So side and side, we're giving a little massage. And if we release them just a little bit, you can kind of let the legs fall and you get a different part of your back. So when you're doing happy baby in any class, you kind of should take license to do it the way you want to do it. You can also straighten one leg at a time if you like. And then of course, if you do one side, make sure you do the other. You can bring them both out if you want. So this is exactly what it sounds like. This is a baby playing with their feet, and as adults, we're finding our feet and playing with them all over again. Now, if you want to release those feet, if you're a person that can't grab onto your feet, you can still do this anyway, and actually dropping your knees a little bit and kind of rolling into the lower back and outer thigh, outer glute area, not thigh, but outer glute area, can feel really good too. We're still using some muscles because we're gonna let them release and then bring those knees up ever so slightly once we get all the way over to the side. A little bit of strength here. And now we're gonna bring knees into chest. We always have to have a way to transition in yoga. So we don't ever say, you know, we're just going to sit down on the floor or we're just going to stand up. We normally have a way to get you there. So one way that you can get either to a seated position or eventually a standing position is to do what's called a rock and roll. And all that means is you're gonna bring your knees into your chest and then send them out, and bring them in and send them out. And then you start to gain a little bit of momentum. Still using strength here. I'm gonna grab onto the back of my legs, and when I bring my legs down this time, I'm gonna let my head come up too. I am like a rocking chair right now. Okay, so that's a rock and roll, and this is how we're getting into our transition and bringing us back up to seated this time. There's lots and lots of different ways that we get you to transition, but rock and roll is one of my favorite. So if you enjoyed those and you want to keep practicing, then by all means, please do that. I'm looking forward to seeing you on day 10.